Good morning. This is Bishop Jonathan Grennan of the Genesis 2 Church. And I just wanted to read a little something that's important to us, all as Americans, but anyone that has to do with in worship and any beliefs. And this was also retweeted by President Trump, which is really important for me to show the world, I would say, our people that are searching for truth. And I'd like to just read it. Maybe take me a few minutes. I'm going to go as slow as I can, but to help those that don't have time or care to go in and read these things. So it is from Office of the Attorney General, Mr. Attorney General Barr. And this is what it states, April 27, 2020, which was yesterday. It says this: Memorandum for the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights and all United States Attorneys. From the Attorney General, Mr. Barr. Thank you. Subject: balancing public safety with the preservation of civil rights. The current national crisis related to COVID-19 has required the imposition of extraordinary restrictions on all of our daily lives. Millions of Americans across the nation have been ordered to stay in their homes, leaving only for essential and necessary reasons, while countless businesses and other gathering places have been ordered to close their doors indefinitely. These kinds of restrictions have been necessary in order to stop the spread of a deadly disease, but there is no denying that they have imposed tremendous burdens on the daily lives of all Americans. In prior memoranda, I directed our prosecutors to prioritize cases against those seeking to illicitly profit from the pandemic, either by hoarding scarce medical resources to sell them for extortionate prices or by defrauding people who are already in dire circumstances due to the severe problems the pandemic has caused. We have pursued those efforts vigorously and will continue to do so. Now I am directing each of our United States attorneys also to be on the lookout for state and local directives that could be violating the constitutional rights and civil liberties of individual citizens. As the Department of Justice explained recently in guidance to states and localities taking steps to battle the pandemic, even in times of emergency, when reasonable and temporary restrictions are placed on rights. The First Amendment and federal statutory law prohibit discrimination against religious institutions and religious believers. The legal restrictions on state and local authority are not limited to discrimination against religious institutions and religious believers. For example, the Constitution also forbids in certain circumstances discrimination against disfavored speech and undue interference with the national economy. If a state or local ordinance crosses the line from an appropriate exercise of authority to stop the spread of COVID-19 into an overbearing infringement of constitutional statutory protections, the Department of Justice may have an obligation to address that overreach in federal court. I am therefore directing the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights, Eric Draven, and Matthew Schneider, the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Michigan, to oversee and coordinate efforts to monitor state and local policies, and as necessary, take action to correct them. They should work not only with all Department of Justice offices and other federal agencies, but with state and local officials as well. Memorandum. This is okay. Many policies that would be unthinkable in regular times have become commonplace in recent weeks, and we do not want to unduly interfere with important efforts of state and local officials to protect the public. But the Constitution is not suspended in times of crisis. Okay? We must therefore be vigilant to ensure its protections are preserved at the same time that the public is protected. He says, I thank you for your attention to this important initiative and for your service to our country. I don't think I need to explain much there. He has made himself clear that the Constitution is not suspended in times of crisis. And we're going to, they're going to, the government and everyone, respect the religious belief of each person and churches. And basically that's all we've been asking for, is respect to do what we need to serve our Lord Jesus Christ and bring health and healing to the world. God bless.